All right, here are the notes I'll be using for today's briefing, which is actually speech 3 for my visual brief. Good afternoon. My name is Raymond Lester, and I'll be giving you the next brief. What we talk about is the civil rights movement and how the black churches played a major part in the movement and their role in the civil rights movement. Here's my agenda. Well, I have issue some PowerPoint slides so you can follow along, and also we can follow along with the projector screen that you have seen in front of you. We talk about specific purpose, thesis for my thesis statement, my introduction, body, and conclusion. All right, we're living in some trying times right now. We have issues in Charlotte, we have issues in Tulsa, and everybody trying to blame everybody, but nobody listening. But what we need to do is sit back. We got to fall back on something. And mine is the time they reflect back on the civil rights movement. When nobody was listening, we had to fall back on something. What they did is they fell back on the black churches and the black churches pastor and what the guidance that they provide and the participation is that they did throughout the movement. Today we're going to talk about the role that the black churches played in the civil rights movement, not just then, but also the role that they can play now. We're going to talk about some of the spiritual guiding leadership they can do, the active participation, and the significant role they played throughout the movement, which not only just began in the mid-20th century, but also way before, back in slavery. They always fell back to the pastors, and will continue on to today. Now, everybody know Martin Luther King. Everybody know the major role he played, but everybody forget that he was a pastor. But he was one of many pastors that played a major role in the civil rights movement. A lot of times we forget about Andrew Young, Fred Shuttleworth, Wyatt T. Walker, and also Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. Each one of them played a major part in bringing their churches into the civil rights movement. How did they play their part? They brought leadership. They brought spiritual nourishment. They brought advocacy to the African American as a struggle for equality. Black churches will continue to play into the ongoing civil rights movement as it is today. Like we're dealing with the situation right now is in Charlotte, cop shot an unarmed man with allegedly another unarmed man, and also in Tulsa where another cop shot an unarmed man that with his hands up. And now we're having nobody talking. Nobody giving no answers. It's just everybody trying, ain't nobody wrong. And that's what we have the civil rights thing, because we don't think it's fair. And that's why it's important that we need to talk about it. Now, this racial tension, it was already written long before. About a year ago, Dugan wrote in 2015 that black churches can they rally again, like they did in the mid-20th century. Basically, the article talked about can they do it again, because it's showing how big a role they played. And usually now these days with social media, they only come out when it's time, when it's some big event. But what about when it's just our kid when it's a nobody? They're not coming out at all, or you gotta pay them for them to come out. Now, along when I speak of the pastor I talked about before, Martin Luther King, we almost consider is Malcolm X. Malcolm X also too, he played a major role in the civil rights movement. Both methods was different. See, Martin Luther King was a Christian man. He believed in civil obedience. He came from a Christian community. Malcolm X was a Muslim. He came from a Muslim community and also believed in what any means necessary. Now we must understand both methods was far different, but we must believe that both of them wanted to see the same goal. They wanted equal opportunity for everybody. I hate to say that both of them, we already know, was assassinated by a person who didn't agree with their aims. But when you realize it really didn't stop there, because their method still was growing, because they knew there is a way out, because they do work. So that's why. And also too, you gotta look in Florida, there's still people writing that can black church continue to play a major part in the civil rights movement. The churches are seeking to improve urban communities and provide safe haven for black children. We have a struggle right now. But what we're dealing with struggle movement, because everybody trying to blame everybody. Black on black crime is trying to be the victim, or police violence is trying to be an issue, which actually was wrote by Livingston Howard in 2015. There's really no point or no actually real method of why the issue is going down. But one thing I could tell you, nobody's talking. Everybody's right. It's just like when we say in the military, hey, if everything is a priority and what, we ain't got no priority. If everybody's right, then nobody's wrong. And also, too, Roberts wrote, black pastor urges civil obedience, not just for the African American community, but for all communities, even what we're dealing with right now is the same-sex marriages. And he wrote that in 2015. Black churches support equality in different number of ways. We already know the pillars: faith, patience, and good works. That's everywhere to oppress. But also, too, is they actually get out there. They was getting out there in the communities. They help feed the homeless, help talk to communities that had disadvantaged communities, help build up the communities. And what they was dealing with, they always try to lean back to what some people lean back to Quran, some lean back to the Holy Bible, and what the teaching they was taught before. Everybody know God was the ultimate equalizer. Just like anything else, there got to be a higher power. Everybody knows it's not gonna last forever. Everybody want to be like, majority of people do, want to walk like Christ. That's a good thing. But we know there's gonna always be a struggle because everybody don't agree with it. Even in the Bible, everybody didn't agree with his movements and how he was conducting himself. Black church will always operate in capacity since their formation in America during the time of slavery. And that was actually written by Calhoun and Brown in 2000. Now, even during slavery, with the black church, everybody, like I said, everybody agreed. Like Nat Turner, he was different. He emphasized rebellion. But others like Martin Luther King, they realized long suffering, patience, and faith. And to follow the footsteps of Thoreau is civil disobedience. Black churches always share the same faith. I cannot tell you that. They don't. We always don't agree, because what you might read in the Bible and what I might read in the Bible are just two different things. But we need to come together and agree with what's priority. And how do we know what priority? With civil disobedience, just like anything else, we gotta let our conscience be our guide. We know what's right from wrong. And if we can't sit there and put out a standard of what is right from wrong, then we're gonna always be in this situation that we are heading into right now. It's important that we reflect on black churches, not just black churches, period, but on churches, period. Over the years, we had an opportunity to look all the wrongdoing that this country has endured, and we still stood. Even today, you still hear those hymns, the gospel hymns, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. When that song was written, he was going through something, because he knew that song right there can always get you through. Everybody right now, any one of us can be a Malcolm X, a Martin Luther King, or we can be that pastor that's sitting in Baltimore. Every last one of us have a chance to participate, to make a change. And if we don't do it right now, then the same problem that we're dealing with today, we'll be dealing with tomorrow, and somebody else will be taking during this speech talking about how to get involved in the civil rights movement, not just with black churches, but with all churches. Thank you.